homeless, sick, and harassed, my battle for survival against Karens and security guards. I am currently homeless and have been single for a year now. I got sick at work and started having seizures. I was a crane operator, but after you start having seizures, you lose the ability to operate anything that goes vroom vroom. My ex-wife began cheating on me almost immediately, and after a bitter divorce, I spent 3 years fighting to get on disability in Canada, without a proper diagnosis. Instead of help, they offered me medical assistance and dying made. I eventually ran out of everything, savings, credit cards, and became homeless as of September 28, 2023. This past August, I finally received a proper diagnosis: multiple sclerosis. The seizures aren't caused by MS directly, they are more like a byproduct, as they are stress-related. Now, I'm on a ton of medication. In June, I left Toronto for a job opportunity 6 hours north in Sudbury, but they chose not to hire me because I didn't have a fixed address. Thankfully, I found something part-time, and I've been working there ever since. So, that's the background information out of the way. I don't receive any government support, so I have to pay for my medication out of pocket, and oh boy, it's expensive. It takes both of my paychecks to cover the cost. Luckily, I make a little money off YouTube to survive. It's not much, but I'm living deep in the woods up in Sudbury. It takes me 3 hours to walk to town or 15 minutes if I manage to hitchhike. On Wednesday, I was in town at the small indoor shopping center to fill this month's prescription. I managed to do that, but unfortunately, being homeless and needing medication often equals a lack of money, and a lack of things to do but wait. So, that's what I did. I waited. There's a bench down the hall from the pharmacy with an outlet where I can charge my phone. I typically sit there while waiting for my meds to be packed. I'd also like to mention that I don't really look homeless. My shirt is clean, and I keep my body washed. The only thing that might give me away is my slightly muddy boots, from always trudging through the woods. I had been sitting on that bench for about an hour. The people at the pharmacy had told me to come back in 3 hours. At one point, a woman pushing a stroller, with a dog in it, walked by and glanced at me. She kept going, but that was that. About 15 minutes later, she came back and said, "You're still here?" I replied, "Yeah, just waiting on my script." That's Canadian slang for prescription. She walked away again after that. Not even 5 minutes later, the security guards came marching down the hallway. They told me it was time to go and said they were trespassing me for being in the mall with no business. I explained that I was waiting on my meds from the pharmacy. They basically called me a liar, claiming they had received a complaint about a homeless man sitting on that bench all day begging. One thing you need to know about me: I have a lot of pride, too much pride. In fact, I don't beg, I don't borrow, and I don't steal. I said, "No, I'm just sitting here charging my phone, waiting for my meds." They gave me the usual threat: leave the mall, or the cops will come. I didn't want to deal with the hassle, so I left. I walked to a park near a bar and sat outside in the cold. It had been snowing. After waiting there for another 60 minutes, I called the pharmacy to ask if my prescription was ready. They said it was, so I made my way back to the mall. I walked in through the front entrance and headed toward the pharmacy. Just as I got to the front of the pharmacy, I heard someone yelling, "Hey, you can't be here. You were trespassed." The security guard caught up to me quickly. I'm not fast on my feet. I walk with a bit of a limp and drag my left leg. "Thanks, MS." He told me I was now being criminally trespassed and that the cops were on their way. At that point, I decided to get a little snarky. I said, "Oh yeah? So you're trespassing me from the place where my pharmacy is, where I get the medication that I need?" "I'm pretty sure that's called discrimination." The guy actually stuttered before responding. He said, "Well, I'm going in with you. If you're lying, you're going to jail." I laughed and said, "Okay, bud." When we got to the pharmacy counter to pick up my meds, the security guard tried to push in front of me to inspect my pickup slip. When he reached for it, I warned him, "If you touch my stuff, I'm going to assume you're trying to hurt me, and I'll defend myself." I also complained to the pharmacist, who said he would follow up with the security company. Damn security. I really don't like security, or Karens. Can't stand either of them.